I'm Stuart Jackson and I'm the technical lead for the cereal fungicide portfolio for Corteva Agriscience here in the UK. It gives me really great pleasure to stand here today and say we have an approval for Univoq, the first product in the UK market containing the Inatreq active and prothioconazole. That new active ingredient is from a new family of chemistry, a family of chemistry we have not used before in cereal disease control. And it's that new family of chemistry with an entirely new site of action that provides us outstanding disease control and no resistance to anything else we've currently used before. I've been involved with Univoq now in field trials for over 6 years. The product is incredibly consistent and robust in terms of disease control. And the thing that comes through after all those years is how well it keeps the disease out of the crop and how it keeps that out of the crop for a long period of time. Okay, we're in a crop of grey and winter wheat here at Kirkby Green, just on the south side of Lincoln. The disease pressure in this field is particularly low. So on this particular plant here in my hand, we actually see very low levels of disease. In fact, I can only pick up little bits of Septoria on the lower leaves. The higher leaves are clean of disease, and it's only really Septoria we can pick up. On this particular plant, we don't see any yellow rust at all. Another plant in my hand is very much the same. No yellow rust visible on it. Just little bits of Septoria on the old leaves, and those old leaves are dying back anyway. In terms of a T0 for this particular crop, I feel that there isn't actually any need to do anything at this current point in time. In a few weeks' time, when we start to plan our T1 fungicide, what I will do is revisit the field. So if there's been some periods of wet weather between now and say the next couple of weeks, then I'd look to use quite a robust dose at T1. The rationale behind that is we could have had an infection period, particularly for Septoria over that time. And at T1, I'll be looking to use an SDHI-azole combination to give me a good effect on the yellow rust if it's progressed, and to start to lay down that program, a robust program with an SDHI-azole base on the Septoria. And then at T2, look to use my Univoq at T2. The dose rate I'd be typically thinking about for a crop like this, a crop of graham, which has reasonable level of resistance to Septoria and very good resistance to yellow rust, is to use something like a 1.25 litre dose. In some situations, that dose rate would need to go up above the 1.25 to something more like 1.5. And in some situations that dose could come down to that 1.1 litres of product per hectare. And that decision as to whether you're going to go up the dose or down the dose depends on several factors. Those factors are the varietal resistance. So the more resistant the variety, the lower the dose you can use. The more susceptible the variety, so something like KWS barrel, you'd need to increase that dose up to more to the 1.5 litres. And it's also driven by the location in the country. Another scenario where I would consider looking at adjusting the dose from the current 1.25 litres in this field is in a situation if I couldn't get my T2 on in a timely manner. So my gap now between T1 and T2 has been extended. It's gone past that 3 to 4 weeks. In that particular scenario, what I would do is I would recommend to the grower that they use the higher rate of 1.5 litres of product per hectare. And by using that higher rate, I get more curative activity and cover the gap between T1 and T2. There is a benefit of using Univoq at T1. The benefit of using it at T1 is where you've got a very high pressure of disease, particularly Septoria at T1. And by there, you're taking the disease pressure down and you're having your length of green leaf protection from T1 to T2. There is, without a doubt, still a benefit of using chemistry like Univoq on varieties which have very high levels of resistance, something like KWS X-Days, which has very high levels of resistance, not only to Septoria, but also to rusts. In the trials we've done over several years, we still see a yield benefit by using Univoq as part of the fungicide program to keep the disease out of those particular varieties. The formulation matrix within Univoq is branded IQ4. It's that formulation matrix that really does spread the Inatreq across the leaf surface. So if you look at the application and you see the spray drops landing on the leaf, what you immediately then see is how it spreads across the leaf. It gives near 100% leaf coverage, and it's that 100% leaf coverage, or as near to 100% as we can get, that is giving this outstanding disease control. Recently we've had new chemistry come into the cereal fungicide market, and when we look back at trials comparing the existing chemistry we used to have compared to the newer chemistry that's just come through into the market, Univoq is giving this outstanding disease control. We're going to continue to follow this particular crop of graham here on the eastern side of the country, just south of Lincoln. And in a few weeks' time we'll be back here to plan our T1 and T2. But based on what we're seeing today at T0, we're going to leave it untreated. We plan to do a SDHI azole at T1. I would use my Univoq at 1.25 litres at T2. It's really exciting to be stood here today talking about a new era in cereal disease control. A new era with a new family of chemistry that picolinamides, a new target site, no cross resistance to anything else we currently use today, outstanding disease control in the field, translating through into yield. Fantastic time. Welcome to Univoq.